Francis and Dee Dee were really involved with like the day-to-day aspects of production, and were huge kind of resources for solving problems and dealing with issues, and it was just a great experience all around. Just one of those once-in-a-lifetime kind of shows. She's just brilliant. I mean, she's intelligent and conscientious and considerate and thoughtful, and just a really an amazing person. But also, lots of fun and irreverent, and likes to joke around, and likes to have a really good environment on set. We found a great location in southern Ontario that had a very cooperative farmer that owned the farm, and he allowed us to build a number of temporary structures in his fields. We laid out roads and laid out, the corner of this colony where these events occurred, and we saw the residences and some of the communal structures in that community, and then we carried that through to our stage builds as well. So there were aspects of it that were faithful to how the Mennonite lived and how their lives functioned, but it was a little bit non-specific in that it could have been any Mennonite community anywhere. We did presentations for the actors of what their houses, how we were planning their houses well in advance of them arriving. We did like Zoom calls and showed them images and talked about the approaches to the different characters and their residences. Because even though there's a lot of conformity in the communities, we wanted to give each of the characters' homes their own specific and individual character and personality. There's no decorations on the wall. They live a plain and simple lifestyle, and that's a virtue. But there are things that we did notice from some of the research that we did. Of things that did appear on walls, like for once, the things that are utilitarian are permissible. So, like calendars were permissible. Things like tea towels, and sometimes there'd be, like a nicely embroidered tea towel hanging on a rack that was maybe, functioned more as a sort of decoration than something that you actually wiped your hands on. There were also bags, like shopping bags would be hung on hooks. So sometimes those would, we used that, and clocks. The way the hayloft was laid out, it wasn't quite workable for how we wanted to shoot it. Like everything from the height of the hayloft and how much headroom there was in the actual barn to the size of the hayloft. So, and the obstructions in the barn. So what we did was we basically recreated the barn in the studio, where we had a slightly larger hayloft area, and we lowered the height of the hayloft so that there was like more clearance, so that there was like the actors weren't bumping their heads on the on the gabled walls. She's not Mennonite, but she has had, I think, a long-standing interest and passion in Mennonite communities and how they live and how they function, and different aspects of their lives, beyond how they dress and present themselves. So there was often, there was a lot of dialogue and a lot of collaboration with Kita, everything from like the patterns and colors and what would work with certain characters and certain homes. Just recently, when there was a screening of the finished film, was the first time that I heard the score, and it worked so well with the storytelling. in that it added a real emotional resonance to the film without ever being dominant or overwhelming. It just really kind of heightened what was in the film and did it in a really interesting and evocative way. It was unique in every way. It was everything from the caliber of people involved with Francis and Dee Dee and Sarah and Marion's novel and the actors to the production. It was just a difficult story in really good hands that was told in a very honest and impassioned way without being heavy-handed, and there was just a sensitivity and a nuance to the storytelling that I think was really amazing, that I think will hopefully find a good reception with viewers.